Hi, my name is Wangashi and welcome back to my channel. Today I have this very beautiful guest with me. Her name is Beata from BY's Bakers. So today she's here to answer some questions with me that we got on Instagram. First question, how did you all start? How did you start?
Okay, mine I started because I enjoyed eating cake and I didn't have anything to do at the time. I had just finished campus. I was staying at my dad's, working at his company, and I was like, now I need to venture out. Nimeboeka kwa nyumba. So I took classes at Cakes and Cakes.
That's how I met you.
That's the thing. We went to the same baking school, but we didn't know each other from then because we were not in the same class. Yeah. But yeah, we went to the same baking school. But unlike her, who went because she likes to eat cake, I went for baking classes because I wanted to know why buttercream is white and mine wasn't white. That was my only reason to go to baking school. But here we are. The next question, how do you prevent fondant from cracking?
I think it depends on the recipe that you're using.
Yeah. And when rolling, don't put too much sugar or cornstarch, whatever it is you use to roll.
Also the temperature, like the humidity determines.
Yeah, don't have open doors or windows.
Like sometimes you might have
heat.
Na kuna watu wanaeka CMC kwa fondant, so
don't put too
could
much.
be the ratio of your CMC. So it depends on your recipe and
mainly your recipe, yeah. When baking a cake with 2 or more flavors, do you prepare one batch of butter, then divide and add flavor, or you prepare the butter separately?
Depends on the recipe again.
And
because
what you're making.
You can't be making chocolate so to a vanilla, bit of it weke cocoa equal chocolate.
Yeah,
that's
not chocolate cake.
But if you're
even a chocolate cake to make a red velvet, it's not a red velvet.
But if it's vanilla and you want to make it strawberry flavored or something else flavored using the essences, you can.
Yeah, you can. But it depends. It's safer to make 2 batches than one. Yeah. This one is from one of our favorite people. This one is just for fun. Is it true that baking a cake is just like cooking ugali? Well, baking a cake is easier, in my opinion. Because one, ingredients zako, you can see them, you can weigh them, you're sure you can level. Ugali ya mtu moja na ugali ya watu watano na watu 15. Totally different things.
Ugali ya muscle power.
Yeah.
But I'm sure she has because of he just and you wanna make at your cake will be cheap because it's basically like making ugali.
Why?
What?
Yeah. Ujaona hiyo nini?
See.
Hey, we've been roasted out here. Roasted. Hata alisema basically cake ni kurambisha tu icing.
Say what?
Okay, unga ugali kilo 2 ni 100 bob, maybe 110, 120 at best.
And water.
So, na maji ya kajo kwa mwezi si 500.
Yeah.
Leta pesa nitakusonga ugali, lakini sijui kupika ugali kubwa. Nitakusonga hadi unga yako ishe.
So no, it's not like cooking ugali, not at all.
Next question, between whipping cream and buttercream, which is cheaper for icing? Non-dairy whipping cream. Because if you're using dairy whipping cream, it's not cheap at all. So, non-dairy. Why do you use 2 cake boards? The small one, same size as the cake, and the large one. That I guess is for me. I have no reason, to be honest. I just like it, 1. 2, it adds a very small height to the cake. So, lastly, since if I've shaved my edges, I can see how much how much buttercream I'm adding to my cake because of the board. Even if I didn't shave the edges, when I'm smoothing, if I start seeing the board, I know I've taken out too much. If I can't see the board, and when I'm cleaning my board, if I feel there's no board, I know I've put too much cream. So it's not necessary. I just do it because I like it.
Then there's also others wanatumiaga for leveling.
Yeah.
You place it on a smaller board underneath that is the same size as your cake.
As your cake, yeah.
So that when you place the other one on top, it helps you get the straight edges.
So for me, it's for fun. And
it also helps if you're covering your cake board with fondant.
Because may never even take.
Because if you decorate your fondant, your board with fondant,
yeah,
and your
true.
cake maybe is buttercream, you'll make it messy if you place your nini there.
Nakumbuka nishaimaliza alafu nitaka kutrim body yangu and then the bottom of my fondant then it hits me how hii ya chini iko na fondant lakini niko nafanya vituko kitambo.
Yep.
Next question, how long can cake batter stay in case you have extra remaining after you've put first batch in?
Best scenario, just bake back to back. Don't keep it
Out for long.
Yeah.
First depends on your recipe. If it's
If
a
it's
recipe that
forest
needed
cake,
fluffy eggs, make a 2 oven. Otherwise, make
it will
per
deflate.
batch. Yeah. While one batch is in the oven, make the next one.
But if it's pound cake,
Yeah.
sometimes steamer zinapotea. It's lying out. I've had it lie out for till KPLC wakarudisha steamer.
May not put cake out for 8 hours. So. But then, if you're going to keep it out for, like me, 8 hours, make sure it's not somewhere warm because the baking powder will react.
And you also stir it, like with koroge, before you put it back into the tin.
Really?
Because sometimes the oil separates, unaona iko oily, sort of.
Messy.
Maybe because
I
of
didn't
a
know
warm
that.
room.
But I know also, okay, if it's KPLC, the fridge is also off. I know there are people who put their cake batter in the fridge before baking. But yeah, longest I've done is
That's
8
for
hours.
leveling.
Yeah.
So it bakes level.
And it worked actually. But I wouldn't recommend nikakauka. But it baked for longer. Vile nimezoea 30 minutes, after 45 haikuwa imeiva.
You bake in layers.
Na
Baking
haikuwa
in layers, you
imeiva in
don't need
45
to.
minutes. Mi nilikuwa naangalia hivyo oven najiambia nimeharibu keki. Next one. Butter or margarine for cake batter? Me, I use margarine.
The clientele
and
as
butter.
well. If
What do you
you
use?
have access to butter and that's what you enjoy, I don't like cake
Butter.
that is butter based.
So you see, it's
I
not
don't
a
enjoy
tea.
it.
It's not a team my choice. For me, as an uncake eater, it's my client's preference. If she prefers margarine, I'll use margarine. If she prefers butter, I'll use butter. At the same
Likewise.
time, what is my client paying for? Like when I did that pricing video, you saw the difference in price. There's a 400 shilling difference, almost 500 shillings. There's no way I will be selling cake margarine price while using butter. Yeah.
Alternatively, if you don't want to use prestige, your clients are not willing to pay for butter, get an oil-based
Recipe, yeah. So you see, anything can work. It's not cheapness or...
Yeah, using margarine is not strong in baking cake. Now, if it's buttercream...
So for that one, it's always client preference, finances of the client. The next question, where can I buy cake boxes or tall boxes? Most cake shops have. Anywhere. If you see any baking shop, just ask them because depends on what you want.
Yeah, for tall cake boxes, it depends.
They're also very pricey. They go for
stock.
almost 200 bob a piece.
Alternatively, join the boxes.
Yeah, do like us. Tempt them. It's cheaper for everyone. Not for the planet though. What equipment to start with for baking?
The basics.
Okay, we'll assume you meant right. What equipment do you need to start with for baking? Yeah, this is number one, oven.
Oven, or
whichever
if you're not
type
able
of
to get an oven, jiko.
Kama sufuria tu.
Yeah, you use ile mawe tatu method.
Mawe tatu, yeah.
But
I
they have
posted
these
that
electric
one as well.
ovens.
I'll put here. I'll put a card here for baking without an oven.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, there's a small microwave size oven. But I say small, but they're not really small. They can bake a big cake.
I'd say just invest in that one.
Yeah,
The
it
13K
works.
one works.
And to work
And it
for a
takes
while.
like around 4 1 kg tins, 8-inch tins.
So that's how big. So it can bake a 3 kg cake, a 12-inch cake, or even bigger.
Yeah, you can do 12. So
And
there's
then-
that. Mixing bowls, of course. Ingredients.
Yeah.
Turntable.
Yeah, you need a turntable. That's one of those things I would definitely recommend you have.
Makes life so much easier.
And nozzles, piping
Nozzles,
bags,
bags. Some people use parchment paper, but honestly, just
Yeah,
invest in a piping bag. They're not expensive, so I think basically that. Cake boards, of course.
Packaging
cake
material.
box, packaging.
Yeah, but
So
those ones you
basically
can buy with
ingredients,
per order.
Where to mix at, a weighing scale or measuring cups,
Weighing scale and measuring cups. Those ones are a definite must-have.
plus measuring spoons. What else? Yes, ingredients, what to mix with, what to weigh with, where to bake it at, and where to decorate and package.
But things like the packaging, you just buy per order. Next one. Why is it my fruitcake a dark brown color? Is it about the brand of molasses I use? I would assume yes. Or quantity of molasses you're putting in your cake. But yeah, maybe change the brand or change the quantity. But then if you do change the quantity that you're using, adjust your sugar as well.
Yeah, so it's mainly what sugar you're using and whether you're using
Yeah.
molasses. Just that, because you don't
Especially if you're using caster sugar, because it's
if you use caster
white,
sugar, it will be a white cake.
white, yeah. Your butter will be lighter.
If you use brown, not kawaida granulated
Yeah.
brown, it will be slightly
yeah.
dark.
Check your recipe then before you adjust. You check your check all of them. Your sugar.
Or
and
if you don't
your
want
molasses.
to do more molasses, you can opt for caramel color. Just
Actually,
a tiny bit though, because that one a little goes a long
I'll
way.
put the link. This Pradeep one, this Pradeep fruitcake that I did in 2018, it uses caramel color, the Pradeep molasses. So yeah. Why does my white chocolate stiffen when I add color? Please share a solution. I would assume it's the color that you're using, because chocolate needs candy color to coat.
It needs to be
color.
oil based.
Yeah.
The food color that you're using, either that or you get flow coat from Americala so that you can be able to use the gel colors.
Tips on working with chocolate fudge buttercream and Swiss meringue buttercream frosting. I don't use Swiss meringue, but she does. I use fudge, she doesn't. So I'll answer the fudge one. The only tip I can give is when you're adding the melted chocolate, add it while it's still hot. Like immediately after you've melted it, just pour it into your butter and icing immediately. Because
You don't want to get
once it cools,
gritty.
kidogo tu. When you add it to your butter or margarine, it stiffens in seconds. So you'll have like chunks of chocolate in it. Number 2, after you finish mixing, because the bowl will still be warm, let it sit for a bit. Especially if you're doing white chocolate buttercream, let it sit for a bit to cool down. Otherwise, there's nothing you'll be doing. You'll be decorating your cake and peeling off your buttercream at the same time. And then, for you.
Swiss meringue. Basically, use it at room temperature.
Is there anything special about it?
Swiss meringue. You can adjust the sugar. That's the best part about it. Can be not too sweet, or it can be as sweet as you want it to be. So if people are complaining about buttercream is sugary,
maybe add cocoa.
so Swiss meringue, and you can also add chocolate to it. So it's pretty, gives you leeway ya kucheza. So Swiss meringue, basically just make sure it's at room temperature. You can't use it when it's cool because of course haitapakika. I don't know what she wants in terms of tips.
But like cold, ikika sana.
Ika kwa fridge, ukitoa lazima irudi room temp uimix.
Mix tena.
Because it changes like consistency kabisa.
Now with fudge cream, what I'd say that for after you refrigerate it, if you're going to put it in the fridge, you can't thaw it. You'd have to let it sit overnight, minimum, to come back down. You can't let it put...
SMBC unaweza rusha kwa microwave, but it's not allowed.
Ukimelt, unaonanga kama margarine kako hapa, kakikuchezea dance hapa, uweke kwa microwave. Unless unaeka 10, unaiangalia hivi.
Bas, sasa hiyo alafu na mix kidogo. So now, hiyo ni like what tip? Is it making ama working with?
Working with. They didn't ask about making, they must know. Yeah, tips on working with. They know how to make it.
So let's go. Working with SMBC, make sure it doesn't have air bubbles. That makes for a smooth finish. Of course, room temperature, you can't use it when it's cold, not too runny. So if your recipe is good, it should hold vizuri. If you're coloring it, don't color the entire batch. Like, take a bit of it into a bowl, melt that on a double boiler, add your food color to that, then add that back into your main batch.
See, you learn something every day. Did I know
then
that?
if you want a sharp edge on the top, just leave the overhang. It's the overhang. Like when you smooth the sides, you in a bakiju, chill your cake. Then when you get it out, use a clean, warm knife. It will leave you with a very sharp edge. I don't think there's anything else.
See, I didn't know all that. So thank God she was here to answer your question.
Yeah, I didn't know about chocolate, so.
How to step away from the comfort zone, because I'm afraid of things like fondant. That one, I am mature, but it depends on what you're good at, because you might want to step out of your comfort zone, but it's not something that you'll enjoy. Yeah, like for me, I don't like stressful things. Like here, the way she's saying SMBC, that's my only reaction to it. So how would I step out of my comfort zone? If I believe in myself, I would.
I think it's a weird question, because how do you make someone step out of their of their comfort zone? That's a you thing.
If you know yourself, yeah.
Just challenge yourself to do. Like for me right now, it's color. I normally avoid doing like lots of colors on a cake.
Now for me,
but I'm trying that. So it's just...
May I avoid flowers at all costs. Cakes that need sugar flowers. That's me. And I don't like doing them. It's not that I don't know how to do them. We've both taken flower classes. But me, I don't want to sit here and do them, because if they don't look like they do, so I saw the photo, I'm stressed out.
Personally, I prefer just buying. If it's something I can save time on and it will give me more time to work on the actual cake, there's no harm in it, because you're costing for it.
Yeah.
So
but if your only thing is fondant, then just keep practicing.
If it's fondant, you can either keep practicing or get a class.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's...
Once you see it, visually, you get it.
Or it's just self-doubt for no reason. Like once you see someone doing it and you actually... You get a class that is hands-on. Yenye utahave kuifanya. So when you do it...
It becomes easier.
And at least if it's enjoyable. Because you can't get out of your comfort zone to do something that you don't enjoy
like
doing. You'll just be... there'll just be a block.
Yeah. So it's not hard, but then it depends. Are you passionate about it?
And challenge yourself to just, even if it's just one thing, once per week.
Yeah. But don't try out with a client's order if you're not there yet. How to make fondant?
Take a class.
Yeah. Some of these things can't be shown.
We can't explain up at you, do this, do that, do that. You'll just get the info, but will you go and execute? It will just be...
Plus also...
A hands-on class will always just...
Even as we answer here, my recipe for fondant and hers are different. I've used her recipe, and let me tell you, I almost cried. So,
and for me, it works
perfectly, which is weird. So yeah, best, just take a class. Let me ask you this one. Already answered in the previous one. Not a beginner, but how to deal with frustrations when decorating cakes. What?
Don't turn out as expected. Na feel nika kuna wadi na miss. Not a beginner. How to deal with frustrations when decorating cakes that don't turn out as expected. How to deal with the frustration?
I answered one. I used to cry, but now nowadays I don't.
Okay, is it that it's turned out so badly, it's just not what you expected? Because if it's a good cake, it's just not what you expected. Just take a step back.
Yeah.
Walk away from the cake, because it will frustrations.
True.
Walk away from the cake. Maybe get someone else and ask them for an honest opinion on how it is. So just step back.
Yeah.
Because we are our worst critics. That's what happens, by the way. When they criticize, Or scrape it off and start afresh.
Again, yeah. Sometimes after you sleep, after
if
you
it's
nap,
not good, take a break, come back at it, rudi. Because saa zingine haikuangi as bad as you think.
That's exactly.
But then again,
sometimes it's all in your head.
But then again, it depends on what standard have you held yourself to. Because if you allow yourself to just let it slide, then your work also slides in terms of quality.
So you can always have like a support system. Like for me, I know if I ask my sister or my mom, ikeki nakaje, they do not have a filter. They will tell me, ulikuwa unatafuta, and then I'll know it doesn't look good because they know my work.
Then
but if they just said iko poa, but yeah, with my mom and my sister, they won't even wait for my question. They'll answer me before I ask. So
so get someone who isn't afraid to tell you like it is,
or a baker friend who would know what is needed to be added or subtracted, because sometimes you've overdone a cake.
True.
So that's the end of our questions. Thank you so much for them. If we didn't answer your question, maybe we genuinely do not have an answer to, but we've tried our best to answer according to what we know.
Most of what we haven't answered is basically fondant, how to make something fondant, which we can't show you right now because we're not in the kitchen. So thank you for having her. Thank you for coming. Thanks for having me,
and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.